What's up, everybody? Welcome to Calling All Bowlers, episode 26. How is everybody doing this evening? Getting everything situated here. Hope everybody's having an awesome Saturday. We are ready to rock and roll. What's up, Pickles? What's up, my friend? Hope you're doing great. Just getting all the invites sent out here. Hope everybody's having an awesome Saturday. What's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy? Chase, Craig. What is going on? And all we're doing here, y'all, is waiting on the man of the hour who just landed, and there he is. Let's get him invited in here. He just got landed. There we go. Hey, there's the man. Look, I don't even have to send you a video invite. Look at that. You are already on it. It's like you know how to do this thing.
I may have done it a time or two.
What's going on, Big Steve? Hello.
Nada, just waiting for our shuttle to take us to the hotel.
Yeah.
And off to the international waters tomorrow morning. The international waters tomorrow morning.
Okay. The international what now?
The international watas. I'm on a cruise for a week.
Oh, water. Okay. It kind of paused on me there. I figured that's what you said. So, but welcome everybody. Episode 26. We got us a big time celebrity as our guest tonight, and you know how popular he is because he keeps fading in and out of his background. That's how popular he is. Yeah, he's looking around.
I was going to say, who else are we bringing on?
Hey, Mark's like, where are the comments? Hey, Tanya. But no, man, like you guys are getting ready to go on a cruise and everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Representing the great state of Missouri while standing in Miami-Dade.
Miami-Dade.
Right there.
You ain't heard no Who songs and David Caruso putting on his sunglasses, have you?
Where the Hilton Blue Lagoon, sir.
Oh.
He's trying to get us on the wrong shuttle.
I just saw Hilton. I said, that's got to be it. Apparently not.
Sorry, I went out there for a minute. Somebody was trying to call me on here.
No, I tried to get us on the wrong Hilton shuttle, apparently. Oops.
Well, it probably went out on my end, too.
You just
so,
stick to your tell me when and where to be.
It has to be, pickle problems, you know.
Well, I mean, there's pickle problems, and then there's just in general BHB problems, because we have our own problems, too.
Okay. Well, I figured since, Brian's here in the live, we just put it on him. Right?
Oh, of course. We always try to make it pickle problems, even if it's not.
Miles, welcome in. Like I said, everybody, welcome in. We are on our 26th episode of this. For all your old bowlers, 26 episodes in. I've got the state of Missouri officially checked off of the states. So, yeah. So let's get right into it. Why don't you tell some of these wonderful people out here that you probably already know a little bit more about Mr. Steve Ruebling.
Well, I mean, I'm one of the two co-hosts of the Bowlers Helping Bowlers podcast, which, is the majority of what I'm known for. I've been bowling since I was like 5 or 6 years old. Took about a 12-year break after my first son was born. Oh, lost a headphone.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Now we're back in business. Came back, got my 200 average to become PBA eligible first season back, and haven't looked back since.
It's just we got so many things that we got to talk about here. When I was going through your stuff, like, how did you? First of all, tell people what you do for your job.
I sell home and auto insurance for AAA Missouri.
How did that come about? How did you wind up selling insurance?
I started selling insurance because the wife was better at selling cars than I did, so I switched industries.
Oh, yeah.
So you both are selling cars, huh?
We were for a little while, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, like, did you always have a thing for selling insurance? Was it always on your bingo card?
No, not at all. I thought I was going to be in the car industry for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The offer got extended to me. My mom sold insurance for 20 years. So I called her, asked her what she thought about it. Absolutely, you're my kid. You'll be good at it. And what the hell took you so long?
You just needed mom to bump you along to do it, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Needed that little push.
Okay. Well, now, another thing I got to ask you. It says right here, you are a certified DGAB yoga instructor. Tell me about, like, that whole experience, because obviously all the lives I've been in, you always had a bunch of wrestling reps. So I got to know, how does DDP yoga, how does one go about becoming that?
You sign up for first of all, you got to be a practitioner first. You obviously have to know what you're doing as far as the system itself. And then you sign up for it as far as being an instructor. You go through an interview process because they want to make sure that you're going to be a good instructor before you can get into the program. Then I had to go through 40 practice hours, 20 practice teaching hours, so I taught for free for 20 hours. And then I had to submit videos of my practice teachings to get approved before I got my actual certification. So it was about 12 to 14 month process.
So are you teaching, like, any classes on your own now?
No, not currently, because I am a little bit overweight for that. So I need to cut about 20 pounds before I can start teaching again. Because there's a difference between being in DDPY shape, and then there's a huge difference between DDPY shape and DDPY teaching shape.
Oh, okay. All right. So how did Steve get into bowling?
My dad, my biological father, was a lane mechanic. So I would literally get dropped off while he was working. They would turn a pair on for me, and I would literally bowl until he got off work.
So you're saying you got a lot of free bowling is what I'm getting.
Early on, absolutely.
Did you ever work as a mechanic, like following him, doing it part-time or anything like that?
No, I spent some time in the back and realized I am not very mechanically inclined.
Oh, brother. We share that trait. I had everything about bowling, but I was never mechanically inclined myself, so I couldn't touch the back.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something beyond, hey, pass me the duct tape, I really couldn't do it.
Are you mechanically inclined anymore now, though?
Am I mechanically inclined what?
More now.
No.
No, you still, okay.
No, not at all.
Okay, no, that's totally fair. I'm with you there.
The only way I'm mechanically inclined is if I become a YouTube expert.
Hey, listen, we're all out here trying to make a buck, bro. I just want to let everybody know here in the comments, if you've got a question for Steve, throw it here in the chat. And Pickles is in here as a mod right now, so if Long Pickles is in here, we'll get to those questions. So let's talk about this Project 220.
Yes, sir.
All right. See, where did you? That is a cool background, by the way.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, that's pretty badass right there, bro. But no, let's get to talking about your 220 project. What brought that on?
The last 2 to 3 years, I've been floating between 208 and 215, and I'm just bumping the glass ceiling. So it was one of those things where it was like, okay, well, we got to progress. We got to do something different. We got to commit to it. And that is what we're doing. We're actually putting more practice hours in. We went and got Joel as a coach, not just a PSO. So I've got him as my coach and as my PSO. I actually need to send him the videos I recorded yesterday. And I want to get back into more competitive tournament bowling, and I want to go out and actually start making cuts and making money and not donating. Because when I was a 2.0 to 2.15 bowler, unless I had a really, really good day, I was donating. I wasn't going to be real competitive. So that's the inspiration to go out and be more competitive and start making some money on tournament circuit.
Where do you think the hang-up is?
The first big hang-up was fit, which we got fixed because Joel looked at my stuff and was like, how in the world are you averaging over 200 with this stuff? Because it is nowhere near where it needs to be for you.
What
And
changes when you get done answering, what changes did he make specifically?
My span was too short. I had forward pitches and not reverse pitches, so a short span and forward pitch, I was grabbing the ever living crap out of the ball, which is causing me to be a spin biscuit. So when we fixed the pitch, we lengthened the span, fixed the pitch. My PAP went back to normal. My release got a whole heck of a lot better almost instantaneously. And it's more also, being more mentally resilient and not letting frustration get ahead of me when things start going south. That's going to be another way to pick up pins.
Take us through, I want to ask you about a process, okay? Take us through, how do you manage not getting frustrated when nothing is going on?
When I figure that out 100%, I will gladly share it.
So you're saying work in progress?
Yes, absolutely. Right now, it's focusing on not, I'll say, letting my brain get away from me and start overthinking things and trying to keep everything what I see and keep everything simple, as opposed to my brain racing off and trying to find 15 solutions to one problem.
Well, I tell you, Steve, you sound like a lot of people, when they get back into bowling, that's the process that happens. They try to find an excuse for it,
Exactly.
So, if your stuff changed by Joey, what was the first thing you noticed differently when you started rolling your span?
There was less pressure in my fingers and less pressure in my wrist. And with the ball sitting better in my hand, it caused me to be a lot less likely to muscle the ball. So it was just letting everything flow and trusting that my fit was right and the ball was going to do what it was supposed to do out of my hand if I released it well.
You know what your access point was before the change and after the change?
It was like 1 3/4 over.
This is before.
Before, yeah.
What is it now?
It is 4 3/4 over now.
That's a big difference. See,
Yes.
I wanted you to tell us this because I made a video yesterday about my little tip on Friday Pro Shop tip.
At least we don't have to
It
leave to
is
eat.
so important
Shop.
not to
No.
enough.
I got two headphones and I can't hear you.
Is so important. The measure is so important. It makes a big difference. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. You want to make sure that you're using it properly and that you're able to roll it a lot more consistently.
Absolutely.
That is really good. All right. How many leagues you plan on bowling this coming up fall? Because we know it's right around the corner.
3 in the fall. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, are all competitive?
Yep. Tuesdays is a trio. Wednesdays a 5-man, and I'm in a 8-person rotation on Fridays. So I will be bowling 2 on, 1 off every Friday.
Y'all are still doing 5-man up there?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I almost thought those were extinct.
Dude, finding trios in a 4-man is harder than to find a 5-man in Missouri. Missouri is very, very much still 5-man alive.
Yeah. Okay, so give us a ratio, 5-man versus trio.
The trio league that I'm in on Tuesday is probably one of maybe 4 in my area.
Yeah.
And then every house that we bowl in throughout the winter has at least 3 nights of 5-man.
Now,
And then there we go. I said, let there be light.
go ahead, finish your thought.
And the other ones that are not 4 or not 5-man, they're usually 4 and they're usually mixed leagues.
So give us this, okay? So where you're at in Missouri on a scale of 1 to 10, how competitive is that area that you're in?
Very. I am of what I would call currently a very run of the mill bowler in the St. Louis area. There's a lot of people that are a lot better than me. When we first started talking about doing the Missouri calling all bowlers, I'm like, hey, there are a lot of other guys that are more qualified for this than me.
So Victor did that Missouri Masters. Did you bowl in that?
No.
No. You're saying you weren't ready for it yet?
Yeah, there's no way I would have went out there and been competitive, and I'm not a fan of going out and just donating.
No, I get it, but it's so the difference between we got to pause. We got to wait on him to come back.
Oh, no.
There he is.
I had a text message.
Okay, that's what. So how often? So let me ask you this. So you're trying to get to 220. Before all these changes were made, how often were you bowling tournaments?
Before COVID, I bowled about 4 regional tournaments a year. I was trying to make it, I was trying to see what I could do out on the Central and Midwestern Regional PBA Tour as a 200 bowler on the bottom end of the learning curve. That's where I became very disdained on donating because I did a lot of donating those 2 years. I would do probably 3 or 4 USBC tournaments, either Missouri State USBC or St. Charles County USBC a year. And then I would do nationals and then the Greater Ozarks Open, which is a huge tournament in Springfield, Missouri every year.
I've heard of the Ozarks. I've heard stories about that. Tell us about that experience. So the first time you bowled the Ozark, how did that go?
The very first time I went out there, I cashed. I cashed in doubles. It was on, I believe, Dead Man's Curve was singles and doubles.
Okay.
And I roll very well on Dead Man's Curve. My axis rotation and the way I rotate the ball around my hand with very little forward roll is very beneficial to something like Dead Man's Curve because I can sling it through the oil out to the dry, and I can still be accurate enough within about the 2 or 3 boards I got to hit for it still to respond. So I did well in that. The second house is Sunrise Lanes in Springfield. I don't typically bowl well there at all. I don't match up with that house. So I'm still looking for my first team cash where I actually contribute because I got carried by my team one year and cashed in teams, but didn't even feel like taking the money because I was like, dude, I held everybody back.
You're still a part of that team, though, Steve. Come on, man. You got to give yourself some credit there, man.
Well, it was hard to give credit for like a 535.
Hey, listen. When we won state for scratch, Kyle shot 575, and he was low on the team. So, hey, guess what? A W is a W, man.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. Mark right here says he's being me, LOL, and everything, and laughing and all these emojis and everything. See, this is the thing that really, really gets – like what I've really observed lately is like, and you made a point about the negativity that we're in, which we'll get into more of that. But one of the things I notice is there's a lot of people, whether it's putting pressure on themselves or whether it's just that mindset. It's okay to be noble about things, but you got to be able to know when you're a part of something, you won something, a W is a W. So
I agree with that. It's just I was blessed to be put on a team with everybody averaging 200 or over, including myself, and I was the only one that didn't shoot 6 to 640. So it's like, okay, I was the anchor and not the 5-spot anchor. I was the drag anchor.
Well, but look at it from this perspective, okay? A lot of teams will appreciate the fact that if that person is struggling, they didn't give up. And I know when you came down here to bowl DT's tournament, you didn't give up no matter what. So you gotta you gotta look at it from that perspective, my friend.
Oh yeah, whether I'm shooting good or shooting like I shot it to the Tate or the teams at Springfield, there's not an ounce of quit in me. I won't ever quit. But I would like to enjoy myself more than being massively frustrated.
I think that's 100% of us, so I totally get that. Mark wanted me to say to you, be in Springfield next weekend.
Next weekend? Okay. I thought you were going this weekend.
He's old. He probably forgot his dates.
Yeah, well, that sometimers kicks in.
That sometimers is right. Let me ask you this, okay? Let's go into our next topic here regarding bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think the state of bowling is at this point in time?
The state of bowling is in flux.
Okay.
I always say you're either living or you're either growing or you're dying. And bowling's in a very unique state right now where it's neither. It's trying to decide what it wants to do. But I think the massive state of bowling is trying to go back to the golden age, which was, the 80s and 90s, and rebuild that nostalgia and get the momentum back. However, I think bowling needs to come up with its new era and be successful in a new era versus having to revert back to the way it was. And that's with innovation. And we're just trying to figure out what's going to be the next innovation that's going to carry bowling into that next era.
Do you think it's fair to say that we have already had that, but it has been horribly mismanaged, if you will?
Yes. There's too many people from that golden era that are resisting what is going to take us into the next era.
Why do you think that is?
Because all the people that used to be the head of the houses, then winning everything, are now getting their butts handed to them by a bunch of 16 to 22-year-olds, and they're not happy with it.
Do you Do you remember when they really started pumping up the PBA 50? Okay, so follow me on this because this is one of the things I noticed. A lot of the, like we'll just say like the people we know, what I grew up with, the PDWs, the Walter Rays, the Parkers, the Norms, and all that. So a lot of those players out there on the PBA 50, they would be one of the ones to actually tell you, I'm having a hard time competing against the younger crowd.
The kids.
Yeah, against the younger crowd. And that wasn't insulting. It's just like them realizing, hey, Father Time's playing catch up here. And
I mean, look at Pete Weber at the first Pete Weber Memorial in Springfield. He's like, this is going to be my last stop on the big tour because I can't compete with the kids. And that's when he went off to the PBA 50.
Yeah, I remember that. And now he's the one handing out the trophy to the winner every time they do an event in Springfield for the PDW event. Dustin was going to be up there originally and something happened, but he was like, I think he's heading back to Missouri on Monday too. I'll find out which area and I'll let you know. He might be close to you.
Well, I'll be in international waters for a week, so if he's coming up there this coming week, I won't be there.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure then. I don't know how long he's planning on staying. That's the thing. I'm not really remember what he told me. Let me ask you this, okay? I want to elaborate on you say that we're looking for the new golden era, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What is Steve's idea behind this new golden era? What is it intertwined with it if this was your idea?
Embrace the kids, embrace their throwing style. The hate for two-handed bowling's got to die. Because as long as you're hating the next innovation, it's never going to take off. The USBCs tried to do that with, implementing the whole rules that we implemented in 2000, 2001. They're trying to progress the game and put those new rules in to make sure everybody's got a level playing field, and everybody's still complaining that they're getting their butts handed to them by two-handers. So we need to figure out a way to put that anger and that frustration over a new bowling style and put it to bed, because that's the only way we're going to grow.
Do you think the USBC helps grow or hinders growth?
I think the USBC intends to help, but it doesn't always go the way they plan.
Why do you think that is?
Because let's take the survey, for example. They released the survey for opinions on urethane, and whether they will admit it or not, they slanted that by the way they asked the questions to the result that they want. There was 4 ban questions. All 3 of them were right next to each other. There was 2 no ban questions that you had to go through the first 3 ban questions to even get to, and then they threw the 4th of it doesn't affect me, I don't care. So if they were really wanting to have an honest opinion from the membership, it would have been a for and against, a for and against. That way they were all evened out, as opposed to support ban, support ban, support ban, don't support ban, don't support ban.
Right. So,
because even if you were for leaving it alone, you got ban in your mind 3 times before you even got to the answer you were looking for.
That's a good point. That's a very good point right there, Steve. Absolutely. So check this out. So we're 5 years post no weight holes, no extra non-gripping holes. Why do you think it is so like now we have something else coming up? It's just been 5 years. It's almost like 5 years ago. I mean, again, with everything that happened 5 years ago, of course, it's almost like it got overlooked because of what was happening in the world. But why such like August of 2020 started and they're like, no more weight holes. Why do you think there's such a quick turnaround with the debate on urethane?
I think that some of what they said for their concern for it is valid. I will give them that. I think some people use it as a crutch when they don't need to. That is 100% completely valid. I do think it has the potential to stunt development if younger kids start using it as a crutch. I think that's valid. But their whole lane integrity thing, I don't think that's valid because reactive resin is going to change the oil pattern just as much as urethane does. Reactive resin is going to pick oil up out of the front and leave everything toasty. And urethane is going to pick oil up out of the fronts and put it in the back. But that's still going to affect pattern integrity one way or the other. There's no way humanly possible right now that you can lay out a pattern and have that pattern not change over the course of an event. It's not going to happen.
You know, they did graphs, 3D graphs I remember seeing, and I think it was like the Open Shot one year. I don't remember the specific year it was, but they did. And I think this is leading up to the banishment of non-gripping holes and weight holes, if you will. But they showed just how much like a fresh oil pattern looked. And then they showed what happened. It was like 5-man team, if you will. They showed how bad it was broke down at the end of a 3-game set with 10 people on a pair.
Right.
And it was significant, if you will. It was very significant. So, you know, I have always been of the opinion, like you, again, I've said it in my video, I gave my thoughts. I'm of the opinion, you got the tools, use what you got to use. If people are good enough, they're gonna play around it. They're gonna know what to do. I think
exactly
the issue lies in the people that don't know how to use it properly. Therefore, a lack thereof education. Because, I've put a bunch of videos out. You know, like little situations I've been in the shop. It comes down. Education is so important, but there's a lot of resistance to that education.
Correct.
So with that being said, like, I know you being a lefty, you probably don't see as much of a change, and that's not a knock. But let me ask you this. Have you ever been on the side of, and this doesn't have anything to do with your thing, it just has to do with the fact of, have you ever been on a pair of lanes where, let's say, if you've got 4 on a pair or 6 on a pair, that you've had more lefties than righties?
Mm-hmm. I have a team in my old league house that just got sold and turned into a church. That's neither here nor there. But they had 3 other lefties on their team, and me and my team had 2 lefties. So there was 5 lefties on a 10-person pair.
How was that experience?
Well, somebody may have broke out the purple cheat code to mess up everybody else's game. I am all for using urethane when it's part of a strategy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is why the people and the teams that win at nationals, especially the team event, they're all pretty much playing the most similar line, which is, in theory, the most successful line.
Well, and that's the thing is, me and my little brother, we can hook the lane as lefties. Mm-hmm. So I went up to him and said, dude, I'm going to throw urethane, probably the first game, all through practice. I'm going to burn up their outside, get the ball to start hooking at their feet because they play straight up 7, 8, 9, 10. I was like, once that head oil is gone and it's up by the head pin, you and me, I'm going to reactive. You and me are jumping way inside, avoiding the Sahara Desert that I created and using that down lane oil for hold.
So once again, education.
Me and my brother I shot 7.0. My brother shot in the mid 650s. The 3 other lefties barely broke 500.
So, okay, so with that, everything you said, okay, here's the thing. Everything you just said, strategy, okay? And I agree with the strategy part. Again, I'm of the opinion that it's not my job to make it easier for you to beat me.
Exactly.
Vice versa, too. It's not your job to make it easier for me to beat you. So I don't understand. Like, I know a couple of opinions came about. Let me ask you this. Would you be for or against rolling nothing but plastic?
Oh, I'd be for it. I have a 425 rev rate. I can put a dead right rotation on it and throw it up 4 or 5 and get it to the pocket. Now, will I leave a bunch of 7 pins? Most likely. But if my 7-pin game's on point, that really doesn't matter.
Oh, see, we said the magic word. Like, I knew Mark was going to hear me say plastic.
Now, granted, I will say I do have a cheat code for my plastic ball. I throw a Spy. It's got the incognito core in it, so it does move more than the T-zone will.
Okay, so but you still take the core away. Guess what? It's, I've always noticed here that any bowling, like a spare ball with drill with a core in it, like, yes, it would flare more. There's no denying that. But again, I think it goes back to the bowler, and I don't think there's a lot of people that want to hear this, but it goes back to the bowler.
Mm-hmm.
And it is being educated and knowing one's arsenal. Would you agree with that?
Yes, and there's an entire reason why I went to the Spy for a spare ball. Because I bowl in a couple of lanes that get really, really toasty if the situation's right. Especially like early fall, late summer, really hot, really humid. That lane oil is going to go away a little faster. That way, if I have my Spy in my back pocket, I can go to game 3 if I don't feel like moving in and hooking the entire lane, because that's not my A game. I can go to the plastic ball, rev the cover off of it, up 5 or 6, and watch it walk its way to the pocket.
Okay, you know what? Steven just made a very interesting comment here, and I'll ask you your thoughts on this. Steven's comment says, that's part of what I have an issue with. Rolling urethane just in capital letters to mess with people is unsportsmanlike. Can you see that perspective, Steve?
I do not, because I see it as a strategy. If you can't adapt to my strategy of lane play, that is on you.
So let me ask you this, okay?
Now, I say that because I know I can score throwing that way.
Okay.
If I was doing it and I couldn't score that way, that's completely different. Because I'm not going to do something to sacrifice my own score just to make it harder for you. But if I can score that way and you can't, that is my advantage.
Okay, here we go. This is now this, I love this. This is a good, nice, solid debate we're building up here, everybody, and I appreciate you guys being here for it, and us having our good buddy Steve on here. And again, before I get out of the way, Steve, I say thank you so much for being here. It is an absolute pleasure to have you on here. And here we go with this. So I'm going to read a couple of comments. Okay, now Steven says he is of the opinion you aren't playing the lane, though. You're intentionally trying to take others out of play. Now,
How am I not playing the lane? I'm scoring.
Here's I see the perspective. Okay, let me elaborate on this. And Steven, you let me know if this is how you and I are on the same page with this thought. I do think that there are people that, let's just say, if you're well out of the cut, I believe it would be fair for people to somehow say that if they're not going to make the cut, then they're going to mess with people, and try to mess up everybody else from that perspective. So they're practically eliminated numerically, if you will. I think that's what Steven's trying to get at. Up and let it roll. But
yeah,
go ahead.
If I'm out, I'm not doing it. Because that is venturing into unsportsmanlike conduct. I put a soapbox out on people that do that when they're out and they just start messing around and jerking around doing stupid stuff. That is one of my soapbox items. That's what gets me incredibly angry at when I'm bowling. So the caveat there is if I'm numerically out, there's no way I can recover. I'm not going to destroy it for everybody else just out of spite.
Yes, but I think that's the point that Steven, and like I said, Steven, let me know if I'm on board with you. I think that's the point he's trying to make as far as to the unsportsmanlike. But and I say this because I see the perspectives on both ends. You know how I've always been. I always see both sides of the coin. It's actually more of a curse than a blessing some days. But, I honestly don't know, like, the approach, which I have one theory, which, we can get into if you want. Like, I've always said that I told people in the first video I did, I said, if they ban it, if they do indeed ban it, there is contingency plans. And I'm telling you,
100%.
everybody out there is going to see. And I feel as though, again, they either like the harder surfaces or whatever, that's fine. Like, again, doesn't bother me. I don't use urethane a lot anyway, but I do know the strategy behind playing around it. So having that advantage. But again, so it goes back to education and we've got a pretty good solid foundation here, and I like the fact that we can all venture out with different thoughts, and I think that's what makes the community so well-rounded here is we have that ability to do that. Would you not agree with that, Steve?
Yes, absolutely. And that contingency plan, if it indeed comes, the level is going to wind up being one of the highest sold balls in SPI for a little while, because everybody that was throwing an IQ 78 or a pitch black, if they're not throwing PBA, are going right to a level.
Good point there, Chase. I see what you meant there. And so we're everything we've talked about probably the last 5-10 minutes. Okay, this is a really good good gateway into our next part of the program here. It's obviously toxicity because there's a lot of back and forth, up, down, left, and right, if you will. So let me ask you this next, Steve. What do you think we can do to eliminate the toxicity in bowling?
If I knew that, I'd be at a couple 100,000 followers, buddy. Because that's all BHB does is try to accentuate the positive side of bowling. Mm-hmm. Because the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil, and the toxic people are very good at squeaking the wheel. I am of the belief that there are more positive people and supportive people in our community than the negative toxic people. But we're not showcased. They are.
Mm-hmm.
But because more times than not, you get out on a pair of lanes, it can be the UBA. The UBA is a great example of this. You have some of the most talking people in the UBA, but as soon as those games are over, they're shaking hands and they're going to have a drink at the bar.
It's funny you said that because I saw a post from Savage Bowling Memes on Facebook. Apparently something happened in the UBA, and now here comes all the negativity, if you will. And I don't have all the details. It's just sometimes when something happens, they are very vague. And because there's so many people that go in there and they're like, well, what happened? And it never gets explained fully. But from my understanding, there was an issue, I think, with a female bowler. And that's about the gist of what I got at the major. So have you participated ever in UBA?
UBA is not in Missouri, I don't think.
Not in Missouri? Okay. All right. Have you,
but that also brings me back to
Missouri your whole life?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But that also circles me back into how can we improve bowling and launch into a new era. During the golden era, the USBC was not the only governing body. We had the ABC as well. We need a competitor to the USBC because a rising tide will lift all boats.
So do you think we could ever separate into 3 different organizations again like it once was?
I don't think we necessarily need to do 2. But I think the PBA League, because when they announced it, that first year it was only supposed to be in Boleros exclusively for the first year, and then they were going to branch out to other and let everybody else join a PBA league that is not at a Bolero. And as soon as they announced that, I said, that's what we're missing. This is our ABC 2.0. And to this day, they're still basically almost exclusively at Boleros.
Well, I mean, obviously they do own the PBA, so that does make, I guess, sense from the financial perspective.
Right.
All right. Well, hey,
but if we got another league governing body that maybe came back and started giving us the awards and everything that we had during the golden era from USBC, like 710 patches, 100 over your average games, 700 patches, not just your 800 honor scores. You give people incentives and rewards for doing certain things, more people are going to go and do it. I think the one and only lifetime accomplishment for the 300 ring is the dumbest thing that we could have done.
I'll agree with that 100%. Though, it's always surprised me how you said another organization. I am really surprised that TNBA has not branched off on their own.
That's another one that would be a very good USBC alternative.
And because not only that, they at least give you one 300 game ring award, whatever, a year at least, every year, one a year.
Right.
And I think USBC was on it. They're good for a while for like per year. And then it's like when they eliminated it, that's when everything, it looks like it shot up through the roof. So.
Well, and I also, when they first did the lifetime achievement, you only get one for your 300. I was in favor of the idea that they had where you could send your ring back in and get a zirconia put into it for each subsequent 300.
Right.
I was all for that idea. And then that went away.
Yeah, Butchie says you can still, we know, you're correct, Butchie. You can still buy them if you want to. It's just, I can't justify $90, which that's the last time that I ordered one. I can't justify $90 for a Palladium, if you will.
Right, exactly. Now, I will buy up on my 800 ring because that one's going to mean a whole heck of a lot more to me than the 300 ring I got.
Well, that answers my next question. I was going to ask you what you thought was more prestigious, the 300 or the 800, but I think you answered that question.
The 800.
Yeah.
It's more consistent.
How many have you had?
0. My high series is 792.
Oh, dadgummit.
Dude, I shot 260, 290 and needed 2 teen, and I shot a 2.0 for a 798 or a 792. My league secretary was already drawing up my paperwork. I'm like, you can put that away. I'm not going to make it.
Well, there's your jinx right there.
Yep. Because I went into game 3 going, dude, I can shoot 2 teen in my sleep right now. And my mental focus went away.
Oh gosh, I cannot think of. Let's see. I can honestly say I've never done 799, but I do know that even with 27 in a row, that was when I shot my first 800, like on the dot, because I still had to shoot 221. It's like, oh my god, really? Let's see. To grow customizable ring, like the one ring mini diamonds for. Yeah, that's the one that Steve was talking about. No, I like that idea. Like if you got to like. I think it was like increments of 5 at one point, I believe.
Yeah.
You do like 5, 10, 15, 20, so on and so forth. So, really good stuff. Let's hope that something happens within the next year. Like, I'm also hearing through the grapevine that some of these people are going to finally start going, hey, we're just going to start making our own organizations and doing this stuff ourselves. That's kind of what I've heard through the grapevine. So let us know if you heard anything about that in the comments.
Well, I mean, that's how the UBA started. The UBA started as an outlaw league.
Mm-hmm. You don't happen to know how many states they're represented in right now, do you?
No, but somebody that's not on the stream, go ahead and work the Google machine and find out.
There you go. Yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments how. So you're gonna bowl. You said 4 leagues, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'm bowling 3 leagues in the winter, and I bowl 1 in the summer. Like I just pre-bowled to end out my summer league, which I like my summer league. I like my format, but oddly enough, it's the house that my biological father worked at, and he was a lane mechanic, and it's not my favorite house. I don't shoot exceptionally well there. So I'm not going to go back just because I don't want to bowl in that house again next summer. I'm going to find me a 9-pin no-tap league just to see how high I can average for an entire year throwing 9-pin. Or for an entire summer throwing 9-pin.
I just don't want to shoot at 7-pin. That's what that sounds like.
I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, Mr. Price. Come on now.
Oh, God. All right, let's get into the next part of this here, okay? This is kind of stuff we get towards the end of the program, if you will. But Steve, what is one of your biggest life lessons you've learned?
Take every day and every experience for what it is. Don't overlook anything, because I don't want to be at 80 years old and have a hard time recollecting the good parts of my life, my good experiences. So every good experience, absorb it and commit it to memory, because you don't want to be at the end of your life and only remember the nasty stuff.
You made a comment here when I was asking you to fill out this questionnaire. You talked about stop trying to impress others.
That happened when I realized that the only person I need to be better at is me from yesterday. Because you spend so much time and effort trying to impress others, and they can be gone tomorrow. You're somebody that you thought was your best friend. Something could happen, and that relationship could be gone at the snap of a finger. Whether it's something of you're doing, they're doing, or nature. Unfortunately, you experienced that last summer. So it is a more internal focus on myself, but it is not an internal focus on myself to be necessarily greedy or selfish. I'm just trying to be the best me that I can be for myself and for others as well.
Leading into that, I remember you said earlier in the program, you said you had a little bit of a long layoff getting back into the game. Mm-hmm. What would you say to somebody that has taken that same amount of time off trying to get back into the game? What would your advice be for them?
What I would say is be receptive. Be willing to learn, because the game is different from the game that you left. Like when I decided I was going to come back after a 12-year hiatus, I told you before, I love becoming a YouTube expert. I lived, ate, breathed, slept, died YouTube bowling to learn as much as I could about how to improve before I came back. I watched a lot of J.R. Raymond. I watched a lot of Brad and Kyle. I watched a lot of Inside Bowling, all about targeting, proper release, anything that I thought could potentially be a weakness in my game before I came back. I studied. And I came back and I was better than when I left. I was a 180, 190 bowler when I left, and I instantly became a 200 to 210 the first year back.
Did it seem obvious? Would you feel like that you would say it was easier when you came back, or did you think there was a learning curve to that, if you will?
There was a learning curve because the equipment obviously got better. I realized that I could play a little farther inside from even when I was playing, I would call substantially farther inside as a lefty when I left. And it was learning that, the balls are stronger, the cores are stronger, the oil's not the same, because it's not. Because when I left in 2005, there was no way I was playing as far right as I'm playing today. No way.
Yeah, they've. I don't. One thing I've noticed about this, I've told people about this over the course of time. If you can remember, let's say 2015, for instance. To think about some of the high performance balls that came out during that time. Okay, I don't know if a lot of people noticed this or not. But say 10 years later, here we are to present day, those high performance covers have been put into the value performance pieces.
Mm-hmm. But you're also talking about a time where they were releasing every manufacturer released a GOAT at that point. Because 2012 you had the IQ Tour still around. 2017 you had the Motive Jackal Ghost still around. You had the Phase 2 still around.
It's funny you bring up the Phase 2. I had a customer, I swear to you, tell me, hang on, I'm trying to put the puzzle piece into place so we don't get thrown off here. I had a customer tell me today, I drilled them a second phase 2. They said to me, Mike, I don't know what they did to the phase 2, but this one doesn't hook as much as the one from like 5 years ago. And I'm like, so I figured that was a good observation from a customer that I drove bowling equipment for.
I mean, there's going to be slight because you look at the colorways from the first phase 2 and the most recently poured phase 2, they don't look a thing like each other.
Do you think there's a difference in any bowling ball that's been around for a good while?
Yeah. I think especially the Venoms, because when the colorways change, the performance is going to change. We all know that, the colors in the bowling ball can affect performance on the lanes. And those, like the Venom Shock was a pale blue purple when it first came out. It is a very dark, more purple than blue than it now. Because it was a very balanced, like purple blue mixture when it first came out. Now it's almost predominantly purple.
There was a clinic I took one time. This is when Hammer released the Epidemic. Multicolored, very, very good shelf appeal, and that ball rolled really bad for me. And a lot of people got on there and they were like, listen, this is what light color stuff does. And that's why I like the colors that you see majority of it was the blacks, the blues, the reds, the purples. And they were like, those are why most of the bowling balls now have those 4 color combinations in some way or shape or form. And very interesting.
And it's nothing new. Because look at the angles. Look at the Fab Hammers. Mm-hmm. Certain colors perform better than others.
Mm-hmm. Because anybody here right now, if you've got any questions you want to ask Steve, put them in the comments right now because we're getting down to the winching hour here. But let me ask you this, Steve. Moving on to the next, one of the last couple of topics we do here on Calling All Bowlers. How does Steve How does Steve want to be remembered when it's all said and done as far as in the bowling community?
Steve wants to be remembered as somebody that did everything they could to raise the bowling community. I don't want to be known as the best bowler because, quite frankly, I'm not the best bowler. I'm good. I would venture to say I'm on the verge of damn good.
I'll give you that pun.
But I want my contribution to be remembered as more on this side, helping other people grow their social media presence on a platform that didn't have a huge bowling presence. There were people that came in expecting us to talk about the equipment, and we did for a little bit, but it was more about, hey, getting the word out about the Swag family and how welcoming they are, because they're some of the best people out there is under the Swag umbrella.
You may have already answered this, but Mark did have a question. He wants to know what drew you to Swag over the proven brands. I know you spoke about the family-like environment. Was there anything else in particular, or was that?
I got intrigued in how welcoming they are, because they're some of the best people out there is under the Swag umbrella.
You may have already answered this, but Mark did have a question. He wants to know what drew you to Swag over the proven brands. I know you spoke about the family-like environment. Was there anything else in particular, or was that?
I got intrigued about the brand during the rebrand when they went on their hiatus and they brought out this original 6. The first ball that was on my radar was the Black Dragon, which I was like, okay, cool. The core numbers kind of look familiar to a ball I really match up with, which was the Widow. I started asking the people in the Swag community. I'm like, hey, give me the lowdown on this ball. Is it Widowish? Because it looks Widowish. And they said, oh, absolutely, it is widowish. Bought one, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I was like, you know what? If this ball was so good, I'm going to look into the other equipment. Heard everybody saying how good the Unreal was. Got an Unreal. Heard everybody saying how good the Craze Pearl was. And I loved throwing hustles. I had 3 hustles at one point. And the Craze line is numerically identical to the hustles. And I love my Craze Pearl more than I loved my Hustle AU, more than I loved my Hustle Camo. And when that happened and I had an entire league bag that was all swag, I'm like, all right, we can go forward with this, because this isn't the only amount of swag that's coming. There's going to be more. And if this next release is as good as the release they released in January, the sky's the limit for it.
All right. Another question. Here's another good one for you. Steve. Mark asks, what do they need to do, in your opinion, to grow to the level of the other brands?
They need to release a solid A. They need to release win after win after win. They just can't. They need to keep coming out with solid balls. They can't afford to have a dud. And I think the reason that I match up with them more than I thought I would is because they're on this. Everything they have is on the smoother side of things, and with my rev rate and my rotation, smooth benefits me more than something that's going to go sideways and hook out of the house. So that's why I feel that I match up with more of their stuff than I have with, say, Brunswick or Storm, because they're going to go out. There are certain things that I've used for Storm that once it hits dry, it just goes dead right and I can't control it. I don't have that problem with the swag stuff.
Okay. You believe Mark also says more staffers at the local level?
Well, I mean, right now that's the only thing that we can really do, is because we don't have the new stuff's not PBA approved. And then the old stuff is going to have their PBA approval expire on January 1. So right now the company's focusing a lot on the local level, and it's going to they're going to wind up getting their PBA certification back at some point. And yes, that'll be good for them. But I think if they grow locally and kind of ground floor it with their staffers, they'll have more of an impact than having, say, 1 or 2 PBA guys signed.
Well, if we've learned anything, a couple of PBA signings, if you will, for the brand, that would definitely propel nothing but up from there if that ends up being the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, the first time that they make a show, the company's going to have a sales boom. Just like when Ethan Fourier went 7 for 7 in the in the sudden death with EJ. Mm-hmm. Max Thrill Hybrids were on back order for 2.5 months.
Absolutely. Yep. And I mean, it also helps, if you will, that, he did that against arguably the best player in the world right now.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest gripe when people complain about two-handers. I said, then explain EJ Tackett, because EJ does it with his thumb in it.
All right, so I'm reading here on the questionnaire you sent me here, Steve. It says you. And speaking of it, you're in Florida, so I figure this is extremely relevant to it. You were bowling a regional one time in Spring Hill, Florida, and you were crossing with Gary Parker Jr. Tell everybody the story behind that. Yeah,
that was the most valuable lesson that I had in bowling up to that point, and I still will argue that it's the best lesson I've had in bowling to date. I crossed with Faulkner. It was back when the purple cheat code was legal, and I was throwing it, and I was throwing it well. It was on the PBA Viper when it was 37 feet, I think. Mm-hmm. This was back in 2019, and my strike percentage was in the top half. I would say almost in the top quarter of the tournament. We get to about game 5 or game 6, Gary pulls me aside and goes, kid. Now, at this time, I'm already 30 plus. There's very few people on the regional circuit that call me kid, but Gary Faulkner Sr. is one of them. He goes, kid, you know why I'm going to be bowling tomorrow and you're going to be sitting here watching me? I said, no, Gary, why is that? He goes, well, you're striking more than the majority of the people out here. He's like, you're sure as hell striking more than I am, but I'm making my spares and you're leaving too many damn opens. That's why you're going to be watching me tomorrow. That hit like a ton of bricks. I came home, flew to St. Louis, and picked 7 pins for a week straight.
So let's close this out with tell everybody out there about y'all's podcasts. Like when can you watch them, what time, and if you do know, like how many episodes y'all have done of each of the shows so far.
Well, I see Pickles is liking the live. He can tell you exactly how many shows we've had because he's our scheduler.
Hi, Pickles.
But we've been doing it. I think we're 20 episodes deep right now. I think somewhere around there
For BHB?
Yeah, BHB.
Okay.
I can tell you we're about 4 episodes deep on the Swag House. There hasn't been a lot of Swag House stuff done so far. But there it is, 21 episodes. I was close.
You did it. You were there.
And we're on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And we're on TikTok Live, so it is usually hosted on my channel because my channel's tag is Bowlers Helping Bowlers. So that's usually the easiest way to find us. Now, there are going to be some instances where Pickles needs to host or Cobra needs to host, and if we do that, we let everybody know beforehand so they know where to go. If you miss it live, you can also see it on YouTube, which now that I'm on this, I give you my sincerest apologies because we found out the hard way that these lives are only stored on TikTok for 30 days and then they go away forever. That is why DGAB's episode of BHB is unfortunately not on YouTube because the 30 days went by and I'm like, oh, I need to go download shows. And I'm like, wait, they're not all here.
Wait a minute.
But you can find the replays on YouTube, Bowlers Helping Bowlers. And then you can also find our replays audio version on Spotify at Bowlers Helping Bowlers.
Ooh, Spotify. Man, look at that. That's legitimately legit right there with Spotify.
Yeah, we're on Spotify. We're on Pandora. We're on a couple other podcasting hosting sites. So if you have a favorite podcast hosting site, such as Spotify or Pandora, you can probably find us there.
Well, y'all heard it there. First here, folks. But Steve, dude, my friend, I want to give you some time. Like I said, y'all get relaxed. You're getting ready to go on a nice relaxing cruise. I really hope you guys enjoy your time out there for the week, and I appreciate you coming on here and helping me check off the great state of Mizzou.
Hey, I'm blessed to be able to do this with you. When we first started getting into this as a group, me, Brian, and Cobra, you were one of the influences with the shows that you do under the DGAB umbrella. I am blessed to be able to call you a genuine friend, and I look forward to coming back down to Huntsville and seeing you again here soon.
Man, yeah. Well, I mean, again, if you got time in October, that's when the next big one will be.
I'll see.
If you ain't already doing another one, because we know that Missouri does a whole lot more in bowling tournaments than Alabama does. So,
yeah, well, the St. Louis area is known for its bowling tournaments. So that's the one good thing about being in the area I'm in. If you want to bowl something, it's not very hard to find something to bowl.
I completely agree. Well, Steve, I appreciate you coming on here. And like I said, everybody, you heard him Monday nights. 9 Eastern, 8 Central, Bowlers Helping Bowlers. You didn't did you tell everybody about the Swag House, how often you guys are doing the Swag House? Or
The Swag House doesn't have a definite set schedule yet. It's kind of more if we find a topic about swag that needs to be talked about, we'll be like, hey, we're doing a Swag House on either a Friday or Saturday. Those are usually the 2 days that we'll probably do it. But yeah, we're trying to iron out more of a definite swag house schedule, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're basically only talking about one topic, because that's the best part about BHB. We have the world that we can talk about.
So that's why y'all doing. Will we say, fair to say, maybe once a month or once every other week?
Yeah, we try to do it about once a month, unless there's a news event that needs to be covered. Like, heaven forbid they get their PBA registration and they sign a bowler. There will be a Swag House episode talking about it.
Aren't y'all doing some sort of giveaway, or has that already?
Yes. No. We are giving away an Apex Solid courtesy of Swag staffer Matt Rowan, who generously donated the ball to us. It was supposed to be done on Monday, but the release date got pushed back a week. So we're going to be able to do another show this week, trying to hype it up, get more entries into it. We will have a keyword that you can drop in the comments during the show on Monday, and then we will draw it on the 18th.
Okay. Also, Mark is saying here in the comments he wants to be a guest. So we got to figure out a way to get old man Mark on there for y'all. That'll be
Brian,
a hell of an episode.
Pickles, get on it, brother.
All right, Steve, you go enjoy your cruise. Y'all
Yes,
have
sir.
fun. Be safe. Get home. Message me and let me know when you guys are home safe. You got me?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right.
Will do.
Everybody out there, thank you so much for joining us for Calling All Bowlers episode 26. Hope to see you guys again next week. We will be talking to Dwayne Waddy Bowling on here. And then after that will be Miss Sarah McFadden to close out Calling All Bowlers, because you guys know at the end of the month, football season starts, and your boy DGAB, he doesn't do anything on Saturdays but watch some football. Well, we know how that's going to be. You guys will know what kind of mood I'm in on Saturdays if I go live, whether Bama wins or not. So, but seriously though, Steve, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Everybody out there, Thank you so much for the likes. Don't forget to keep on liking, keep follow if you haven't done so already.
Goddamn ball.
For $2.99 per month, it's cheaper than a Happy Meal. And you can get some exclusive content access, like listening to Steve's wife go off about the Steelers not playing well. So we'll throw that in there for him. So, but no, for real, guys, yeah, come on, Steelers.
Leave me alone.
So,
Yelling at football.
Oh, no, you're good.
oh yeah,
All right, guys.
y'all be good. Thank you.
I appreciate being on. I appreciate being on this side of it too. There's a lot of times where me and Brian are doing your job, and it was nice being on this side of it.
You're telling me, like, whenever I'm becoming a guest on somebody's show, it's like it's weird. It's like I'm not really used to this side of things. So, but you
Right.
guys enjoy your cruise. Y'all have a great week. Be safe. Let me know when you get home safe. And everybody out there, thank you so much. And we will see you guys again for our next episode of Calling All Bowlers. Steve, you have a good night, my friend. Everybody out there, take care.